This article starts by saying, Hollywood practically never gets it right when aspiring to make the unreal something of reality. And it's no different when it comes to facts about space that movies get wrong. While movies tend to depict the space odyssey as a kind of epic tale in which the unattainable degrees of the cosmos and far-flung worlds are inherently ignored, in real life that solar flare in deep space will kill you. Dogfights in space? No. What the movies have shown us over the years only really proves that we just don't know how space truly operates. And the grand designs behind this makeup are left in even more secrets. Sadly, the truth about space tends to get ignored, and when it comes to Hollywood blockbusters like Star Wars and others, either their fact-checkers are bad, science has been wrong this whole time, or the big-time directors just don't care, they're spewing inconsistencies. But the point is that movies don't look at the big picture anymore. While alien invasions and Death Star explosions are really neat in theory, getting them right on screen only makes them more viable and touching to the viewer. As such, the following are only but a few facts about space that movies get wrong, so don't fall into the trap believing them true. It is science fiction, fiction, after all. So that's what the author writes. That's what Salvador Lorenz writes. And this article was posted 4 years ago. I guess my commentary on that intro is just, especially with Star Wars, because I'm a Star Wars fan, I browsed through this and I know it talks about Interstellar, which I saw when it came out, so a very long time ago, and Star Trek, which I'm not as familiar about. But like in terms of Star Wars, it's like I don't think they ever meant it to be true. I think Star Wars is more of a mirror to our own world than commentary about cost millions of dollars to make. But if more people were going to space, like everyday people, not just scientists, are going to space, there'd be more companies making spacesuits and they'd be more affordable and maybe they'd be less clunky. But like we're just not there yet. So I feel like, well, I don't know, I can't say all of them because I know Interstellar does take, is that kind of a modern day movie. But like, in the future, they could be much easier to put on and stuff. But anyway, I'm kind of disappointed about how negative this article is and just how, like, I just wanted it to have more facts and less filler words about how unlikely certain events in movies would be. Because, I mean, movies are here to entertain and make money, and they're kind of doing their jobs. And plus, since we don't know a lot about space, I feel like they're exploiting that to audiences because audiences don't know much about space either. And trying to get right where they can, but then use creative liberties because, you know, movies are a creative outlet, especially works of fiction. Using creativity to kind of fill in the rest of the blanks that we don't know. But anyway. I'm going to move on to the next topic that the author wanted to write about, and it's the effects of microgravity. The effects of microgravity. While traveling through deep space and living in between solar systems may seem like a remarkable and intriguing way of life, it's also extremely improbable, if not highly unlikely, due to the effects that microgravity has on the body. This is one of many facts about space that movies get wrong. Like, why do you have to write that again? This whole article is facts about space that movies gets wrong. Like, show me by telling me facts about space. Don't show me by telling me that this is just another fact that movies get wrong. Like, I want to know the facts. I guess this is what I get for not reading the article ahead of time. Anyway. It says, this is one of the many facts about space that movies get wrong, because limited calcium levels can lead to kidney stones, bone loss, and even screws with your eyesight. Very scientific. While the astronauts of today do things such as exercise 2 to 3 hours a day and maintain a healthy form of recovery from it, if microgravity still serves as a relatively harmful con to spaceflight, which can inevitably cause muscle atrophy no matter how long you've been outside of Earth's gravity. The next topic is traveling at the speed of light. We've all seen it before. Han Solo or Captain Kirk sits back in the chair as either Chewie relents a hard crumbling noise, or Chekhov simply says, "Aye, Captain," and the screen before us turns a bundle of streaking white stars, as if the cosmos were flowing on right before us. First off, stars don't streak like that in hyperspace. This NASA demonstration shows the optical effects of special relativity, but it also highlights how hyperspace looks more like you're trekking down a long tunnel. Unfortunately, jumping to light speed is among facts about space that movies will get wrong all the time. Again, so negative. I'm sorry. I want to be more positive about this. goes on to say, traveling at the speed of light, thanks to Einstein, has been proven to be practically impossible by human standards, let alone future technology. Say we somehow crack the code or just figure out a way to tap into the traversal of light speed. The ship utilizing this power would be turned to interstellar dust, effectively making bits of nothingness out of the occupants inside. That's only if you come close to the speed of light, not even if you're actually making it there. Moving faster than light would eradicate every fiber of your being, so I guess don't try it at home. Oh, he thinks he has jokes now. The next topic he has here are leaving Earth's atmosphere. You can't just hop into a plane or even a spacecraft and fly off into space willy-nilly. You'll either explode or freeze to death when incorrectly traversing through the Earth's atmospheric layers. These events, which are additional facts about space that movies will get wrong, fall under what is called atmospheric drag. Hollywood never gets this right unless they're making a biopic like Apollo 13 or something, but that's neither here nor there. Okay? When they're leaving the Earth's atmosphere, there's a lot of functionalities to consider, from trajectory and tilt to orbital velocity and gas molecules. There's no just flying straight up into the air. You have to take account air pressure, which can affect thrusters and wings, as well as the interior cabin. Okay, like, how does he know that these spacecrafts people are using in science fiction movies aren't so advanced that they have all that stuff? Anyway, space battles. Remember at the end of A New Hope and Return of the Jedi, when the Death Star seemingly explodes into oblivion, sending out a massive flare and ball of raging fire like no one has ever seen. Well, that's because no one will ever see anything like that. It's among the facts about space that movies get wrong all the time. Explosions in space don't look or happen quite like they do in the movies, but they are a bit more magnificent, if not deadlier. First off, there's no oxygen in space. That means no combustion. Oh, that's cool. Meaning no pyrotechnics of any kind. Oh, and if you didn't know, there's no sound in space. Those whopping, ear-shattering fireballs of mass destruction you've seen in movies is nothing more than Hollywood being Hollywood as usual. Okay, I want this man to never watch a movie or a fictional TV show again. Like, he's talking so much smack about it and not, this is the facts, this is a bit off from the facts kind of way, just like, Hollywood being Hollywood. Anyway, I'm sorry, I wanted to be more positive. I wanted to be the more positive person here. Anyway, minus the explosions, space battles wouldn't look like they do in Star Wars or Star Trek. First and foremost, when an X-Wing is, as portrayed in movies, always using thrusters and maintaining the same velocity, the so-called space battle would be occurring across the solar system, not over the Death Star or just some random planet. Oh, and banking, that sweet turn move made in The Last Jedi isn't possible. Turning in space looks more like a car car slipping and sliding on an icy road. Rather than literally banking a turn, X-Wings would more or less slip and slide across space. That's interesting. It's actually so cool because it's like, obviously you can't compare space to driving a car because there's not only the plane of moving left and right, but moving up and down as well. The next topic is interstellar travel. Well, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory wants to welcome you to the center of the universe. In all likelihood, we will never see the center of the cosmos, nor will our children, and I highly doubt their children will either. Interstellar travel, while it may seem so grand and packed with amazing wonders, it's so improbable, it's literally laughable. First, the available technology of today, and even those being presented for tomorrow, don't even come close to what is needed for interstellar flight. Second, the cost for even designing and putting such a project into motion would be far too much for so little return on investment. I want to know, does this man know everything the government is working on, like US and other governments are working on in terms of space travel? I was watching, and I meant to talk about this at the beginning of the video because this is why I wanted to do Space Facts. A video from Vox that was talking about finding other solar systems like our solar system and finding a planet that's like Earth, a planet that could have liquid water and is a certain amount away, far away from the star, and could have life on this planet. And she was saying that, I don't know how old this video is either. I'll link it in the description. But she was saying that, they're building telescopes to send out to a very particular part of space. And instead of scientists doing just massive large scans, they're doing very small portions of nearby solar systems and looking at solar systems and stars that could support life. And it might not be for years and years and years that we do find one, but the investment is there. She was saying people are like, why do you do this? And that's not the answer to why would the government fund something like this, but just why is this people's jobs to literally look at outer space? And she was just it's human nature for us to explore. And so while I feel yes, my children and their children might not be able to fly to another solar system, to another star, to another planet, I think that because in human nature we are so interested in exploring that we're going to continue doing this, and technology is only going to get exponentially better. That's just my take. I just feel like the first thing humans could do when they made ships to travel across the seas was literally find every single piece of land. And people were owning all these pieces of land. Countries were owning all these pieces of land. Just that was the first thing we did when we had that technology. That's what we're gonna do too, but we're just not there yet. Anyway, without accounting for the average life expectancy of a normal human, there's dangers in radioactivity, gravity waves, potentially hazardous asteroids, and solar flares. Practically everything listed here is a risk when attempting interstellar flight. I mean, look at the moon landing itself. The odds of that event ever occurring, again, are slim to none. Sadly, interstellar flight is among many facts about space that movies get wrong all the time. Sorry, Chewie. So he's saying that we're never going to land on the moon again. I don't know if that's true. I thought we were gearing up to go to Mars. But anyway. The next topic is gravity yanking a spacecraft out of orbit. I love that. When they're like, we're in the atmosphere, we're gonna land. If you've seen Star Wars or Star Trek, you've probably witnessed a form of a space vehicle falling into a planet's atmosphere after losing its thrusters. This, by all means, is inconceivable. Gravity doesn't work the way it sounds. It does. Gravity doesn't work the way it sounds. It does act as a vacuum within space, but that doesn't mean it just pulls you towards the planet at will, nor do objects seemingly plunge into atmospheres. It's another one of those facts about space that movies get wrong all the time. Gravity doesn't work like that. Okay, so tell me how gravity works. Article, come on, man. I'm sorry. First, depending on the planet's atmosphere, the object in question won't just fall through the layers like a penny off of a high rise. Second, no spacecraft is withstanding the resistance of entering these layers without some form of return resistance. In other words, total destruction. In Star Trek Beyond, when the Enterprise just tumbles listlessly into the unknown planet, effectively losing bits and pieces of itself before turning into a raging fireball and crashing. No, this is rubbish. The Enterprise would effectively be nothing but charred remains scattered across the planet, if even that. Okay, I only have 2 more. Wow, this video went on way longer than I thought. Zero gravity isn't slow motion. It's been used countless times before. Slow motion in the vacuum of space makes everything look as if it's laggy in a laggy video game lobby. I've personally seen the sci-fi trope used in Event Horizon, Interstellar, and 2001: A Space Odyssey. But let's not forget it's among facts about space that movies get wrong all the time. Damn it, Stanley Kubrick. Zero gravity actually means less pull and tension on objects, so things would actually tend to go a bit faster in space. Trying to conceptualize that. Okay. Despite what HAL 3000 might say, the only reason astronauts look like they're moving a bit slower than normal is simply because of those hulking suits they have to don. Like I mentioned before, spacesuits aren't the most fashion-forward attire. If you ever seen the interior of the International Space Station, you'd also know that things move a bit slower there too. This is because astronauts remain as careful as possible. But when it comes to spacecraft acceleration, is bogged down to the delta V concept. As long as there's enough fuel, the mission is a go. No external forces means no worries, but that also doesn't mean everything is slow mode and snail speeds. That's interesting. That's actually pretty interesting. Space is massive. Space is massive. This is the last one. This is the last one. The last thing for this article. Thanks to movies like Star Wars and Star Trek, an unfounded belief that the cosmos is a giant neighborhood of people and species alike There's too much control, even if this were viable, seeing that there are random satellites floating ice rocks, and even enough stars to outnumber the tiny bits of sand grains on Earth. Among the facts about space that movies get wrong is the actual size of this gargantuan resting place, full of cosmic wonders and vacuum propensity. You don't need binoculars in space, because the odds of even seeing something through them are so slim, it's pretty much a waste of time to even calculate the number. Never mind the fact that you should never tell me the odds. Seriously though, space is infinite. That means there is so much bottled inside of it that practically anything within your imagination is possible. So I guess I just proved myself wrong. Yeah, you did. Okay, I hope that you found my whisper rambling relaxing, weren't as bothered as I was about the content of the article. It's like, yeah, I can read any article on the internet, but I like reading them for the first time on the video so I can